By the time the Chiefs and Bucks take the field for tomorrow's game in Tampa, another team will be wrapping up their work. Groundskeepers will have spent more than a month making sure the grassy surface is ready for the biggest sporting event of the year. And incredibly, for all 55 Super Bowls, the same man has been tending the field. Brook Silva-Braga has his story.
Once you get a broom and follow them.
When George Toma looks out at the Super Bowl field, he doesn't see a giant green rectangle.
Knock it down a little bit.
So much as he seems to fixate on every little patch of grass.
That roller's doing it.
And see things, so many things, that can be improved.
What happened there, you think? Sand?
I think we need to pull it.
I think so, too.
At 92, Toma is semi-retired. Ed Mangan is the lead NFL groundskeeper now. But George remains, as he's been for 55 years, the irreplaceable caretaker of football's biggest stage. In the lead up to the game, do you try to keep people off the field?
Try to, but there's more people on the field because every day you have halftime or pregame rehearsal. I kid around with them and I tell them that grass grows by inches and is killed by feet.
Toma is one of fewer than 15 people to have been at every Super Bowl. He credits his work ethic and career path to a childhood in Pennsylvania coal country. When his dad died, the owner of a minor league baseball team hired George to the grounds crew at age 12.
And I was only 16 years old, and he named me as the head groundkeeper.
With grass, you have pride.
Before long, he was in the big leagues in Kansas City, and had cultivated a reputation that landed him on the CBS Evening News in 1971.
His apprentices have been so infected with his epidemic enthusiasm that they push the heavy tarpaulin roll with a zest that makes up for missing poundage.
Municipal Stadium mostly hosted baseball games, but for one special night back in 1964, Toma welcomed the Beatles.
Their dressing room was our shop, with dirt in there, sand in there, piles of everything.
George snuck his 7-year-old son, Chip, backstage.
It rained. Then the red warning track was wet. So I told Chip, hurry up and get some poster board. You can get their footprints. And they came in, all those Beatles signed those footprints.
When the hitting is hard.
But it was the sure footing of the Kansas City Chiefs that gave Toma his biggest break.
Hey, this is a good grass here, you know, this wind's here.
When the AFL and NFL organized their first championship game, George was asked to prepare the field at the LA Coliseum for what would be called Super Bowl.
My equipment was only a 3x4 trunk of equipment. Today for the Super Bowl, we have two 60-foot tractor trailers full of equipment.
Now, if you somehow forced George to pick just one story from the next 54 years, he'd probably start telling you about another time in Tampa. 30 years ago, on the eve of Super Bowl 25,
are you ready for war?
Desert Storm had just begun.
So they had to change all their pregame and halftime show to be patriotic. And they practiced and practiced. So they worn out the center of the field.
The night before the game, Toma found the 50-yard line in rough shape.
I told the boys we're going to go and get some sod. They laughed at me. They said, where are you going to get sod at 6 o'clock at night? I says, just follow me. We'll get sod.
George drove to the University of Tampa.
This is where it all happened.
At the time, this stretch of dirt was a soccer field.
And there was a gate like that, a chain link gate.
George's co-conspirator pointed out a problem.
He said, the gate's locked. I said, darn right it's locked. Grab this SOB. So he rammed it, and we start taking the sod along the fence.
Now, this was all a surprise to Jerome Fulton.
I hurt this man's feelings a little bit.
He was and is the university groundskeeper.
So I get here Monday morning, and there's a hole in the field and a gate that's broken. But the sod was cut out so nicely, it wasn't vandalism. We played in the Super Bowl. At least my turf did.
The turf for tomorrow's game spent 18 months growing in Georgia. It'll soon be subjected to 100 pairs of cleats, tons of stage equipment, and hundreds of millions of critical eyes.
Bud, the lines came out good.
And if the condition of the field never gets mentioned, George Toma will be proud to tell you why.
You can putt on it now.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Brook Silva-Braga, New York.
I never realized what it took to prepare that field. It's painstaking, and he does such a fantastic job.
That was awesome. Great job.
Just
Great
every
job.
layer of
Great
it.
job,
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Phenomenal story that I didn't know about
Anything
until
about
this
it.
year. Wow.
How about that?